Wes Royse for WCLUradio.com and WCLUsports.com, and I am joined today and have the pleasure of speaking with Glasgow Native Kent Bulle, who is a two-time Argentina Open champion, which earned him the right to play for the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale last week, and he made the cut at the Open Championship at Kent. First of all, a big congratulations from me and everybody that you grew up with and everybody you know here in Glasgow.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that was a fun deal, and it was cool to be able to talk to everybody back home and keep up and have the words of encouragement.
And of course, everybody people were taking off work, and you could just see it unfolding on social media. The excitement. I mean, it's incredible. I don't know that I've been that excited in a long time. And you know, you were one of about 70 people, I guess, to survive what, in my opinion, was probably two of the toughest conditions, two of the toughest rounds as far as conditions go in golf that I've seen in maybe 15 or 20 years. What does that feel like?
Yeah, it feels great. The conditions were tough. I got a little better into the draw, at least early in the round on Thursday. It was nasty that morning. I knew when I woke up and started watching it was raining outside and blowing, and we got a little better weather, but we got the brunt of it on Friday. Wind blowing 25, 30 miles an hour, and
yeah,
on a golf course like that is really tough. I mean, I've played a lot of the open rotation, but not a lot of opens. That was my first one, but that place is really demanding from tee to green. Pretty narrow for their sorts over there. I mean, they cut the rough down a little bit in spots, but then you still had a million pot bunkers and high grass everywhere. So when the wind got cranking up, it was a really difficult golf course.
That has to be a crazy mental sort of thing for you to know that when you're hitting into a crosswind, you've got to aim 30 to 35 yards left or right of where you actually want the ball to land up.
Yeah, it's tough, especially out there with, you got sand dunes around, but no trees, nothing for backdrops or whatnot. You're aiming at pot bunkers you don't want the golf ball to go in.
Right.
With the wind cutting across the fairways, just having to trust the fact that it's going to move the golf ball. That's probably one of the hardest things, especially going into the greens, is really tough around the greens with the bunkers and the high grass. So a lot of times you're aiming, in the high and tall grass or in a deep face bunker. You're aiming at that with a 9-iron pitching wedge, 5-iron, whatever it might be, and expecting the wind to take it over to where you want it to go rather than where you're aiming.
Yep, but anyway, it takes a lot of mental toughness, and I congratulate you for having that and getting through on into the weekend. Of course, let's back up for a little bit. You've known for probably 2/3 of the last year that you were going to be in this thing. As a web.com guy, a huge opportunity for you if you're a web.com guy, because so much more can come afterwards. Were you preparing for this tournament for the last 8 months, or were you still just keeping it in the back of your mind?
Yeah, I think at different stages I was different places. Like, for the first month after I qualified in November, that's all you could think about. It's a downtime for us too, November, December. Not a whole lot going on. But then once the web season cranked up, January, February, you kind of put it in the back of your mind. You're going to play, but you don't think about it because you got a bigger task at hand at the time. So, but then about a month leading up to the event, you start kind of getting the butterflies or whatever it is that happens that you get excited. You're going over to play the Open Championship. So then it got kind of hard to focus on what I was doing the last couple of weeks, knowing that I was going across the pond to basically do something I'd always dreamed about doing.
And had plenty of trouble getting back on this side of the pond, I hear, too. So
yeah, that was tough getting to Toronto last night. But
well, I'm going to ask you a couple of quick fire questions here.
Sure.
Coolest player you met up there that you didn't know before?
Dustin Johnson.
Coolest caddy?
That would have to be Alex Noren's caddy Saturday.
Okay. Now, as far as, it's a different stage. Tell me about some of the special amenities or luxuries that maybe you got like for free that you wouldn't normally get at a web.com or a Latin America Tour event.
Basically, Well, they didn't give us courtesy cars because they didn't want us driving on the wrong side of the road, obviously. So we had a courtesy car service picking us up, taking us to the to the course whenever you wanted to go back home.
Right.
Nice Mercedes vans that I don't usually get from Avis every week, but
Mm-hmm.
you know that, and then walking into a restaurant around where we're staying after a couple nights of staying there, they realize you're playing the open. They'll hook you up with some reservations or
Right.
a ride home because you're walking everywhere other than the golf course and stuff. So, over there, not as many amenities because it's just everything's a little bit more difficult to get around and do in another country, especially for us going over, but than it was at the U.S. Open. But basically anything you wanted, they were there waiting on you hand and foot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Last year when we talked to you via video call, you had a fellow Glaswegian, Aaron Fleener, on your side. And, of course, you guys are working with different people now. Do you care to comment on your all's professional decision to do that?
Yeah, it was pretty easy, honestly. He started caddying for me down in Latin America. We did it for a full year there and then a half a year on the web.com tour.
Mm-hmm.
We lived together. We traveled together. We spent a lot of time together. We decided to take a little break just to we'd always been really good friends. And, when you spend that much time with people, it wasn't like anything was wrong. We just decided to take a little break. Hey, why don't you go caddy for somebody else? I'll get somebody else. Well, let's go back to being friends. And then, for him, 3 weeks later, him and Jaeger, one of my best friends, got in the winter circle. And since then, they've gone 2 more times. So it honestly couldn't have worked out any better for both of us. Still live together in Nashville. We travel together, see each other on the weekend. We actually roomed together a couple weeks ago, wherever that was. And it's worked out great for both of us because we both get to do what we love to do. And we just get to go back to being friends on and off the golf course, play practice rounds together, and do the same stuff. So
yeah, and that could be a good thing in both your professional and your personal life. So that's great. I know a lot of people were asking about that, and so I want to make sure I get that one in there. Now let's talk about your actual play during that tournament. I'm driving home from Dustin Johnson country, Myrtle Beach, on Friday. We've got it on Sirius XM, and the announcer comes on in his European accent, and he's saying Kent Bulle just birdied the last hole, and I swear I almost punched through the windshield. I'm like, whoo, just doing this, driving down the road going 75 miles an hour, and my wife, she's updating me. She's like, look at all these people that he's beaten, like all the big names that you're beating. And to know you're playing better than some of the biggest names in the world, what's that got to feel like whenever you're not normally playing with those guys every week?
Just a huge bout of confidence, really. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if I didn't think I could do it at the highest level.
Sure.
So, and I've been battling around the web.com tour the last couple of years. I've had success here and there, but I've been battling around, trying to keep my card out there, not as much moving up to the PGA Tour, trying to keep my card, first of all, get the playoffs, which I failed to do last year. And, I'm on the outside looking in this year. So you just kind of get in a rut doing what you're doing, and sometimes you need that little bit of jolt. I look up on Saturday, 4 holes into the tournament, and I'm in 4th place or 7th place, whatever, looking at names at Speed, Kuchar, all those guys that, you've grown up watching play. So just to be in that situation and have a chance in on the weekend of a major playing in one of the last 3 or 4 groups just gives you that bit of confidence, hopefully, to pull me out of a little rut that I've been in, the last 6 months or so.
Yeah. Let's talk about Saturday a little bit. Saturday's moving day, and, you had Brendan Grace fire 62, which is a record. And it seemed like everybody was -2, -3, -1. And then it's your turn to tee off. Did that put extra pressure on you to maybe take some chances and go for some shots that, you knew you had to go low?
I think it did. The golf course played completely different on Saturday than it did the first couple of days. I kind of liked it when it was playing hard and fast and really tough, where you just had to kind of survive and get it on the greens. But Saturday, it just kind of puts it, especially getting thrown in the fire there. Walking up the first green, when you get 60 yards from the green, there's 5,000 people, and they're giving you a standing ovation just walking to the green. And I thought, well, that's cool for the first hole. Well, they did it every hole, 18 times.
Yeah.
You got 60 yards from the green. Everybody's standing up cheering. giving you an ovation to come to the green. So, and you're looking at the board, you're seeing all these red numbers that you hadn't seen all week. So I actually started pretty well with the first 4 pars, and then got a little aggressive on the flag on 5 and called a jumper, hit it in the back course and made 6. And that just kind of, when I was making pars, all these people are clapping. There's more people than I've ever seen there. That's very foreign. But when you're playing well, it's okay. When that first bit happens where you make a double, then that kind of throws you off your game. And I never really got focused. Then you feel like you got to press, you got to push. And that's a golf course that even in good weather with good scores, it still can jump up and bite you pretty easily. I mean, it's still a hard golf course, even though the conditions are better. So I wish, I'll take that as a learning experience. I've got to focus better, and not see all the distractions. And I got rattled when I made double there. I hate to admit it, but I did, and ended up 3-putting. They were tough putts from off the green, but 3-putted the next couple holes, and started going in a little rut there. So,
right.
Just like to, it's a big learning experience. A lot of people, Saturday at a major, their first time for everything. So hopefully I get in that situation. I'll be better off next time.
All right. Well, it looks like the camera's going to cut me short here, Kent. But let me just say, buddy, I'm so proud of you. I know a lot of people that really are very, very proud of you and what you accomplished up there. Of course, the majority of people who are going to see this interview, probably from Glasgow.
Right.
So what can you say to a kid that's growing up in Glasgow, Kentucky, and he wants to be great, and maybe doesn't actually believe it's possible that you can play in some of these tournaments like that you played? What would you say to a young kid who's 10 or 12 years old, has some talent, and really has a passion for the game?
You can do it. Simple as that. Takes a lot of hard work, takes a lot of dedication, takes a lot of time. I probably missed a few things growing up or in college or whatever, working hard and doing things that I wanted to do to get to where I got to, but you can do it. It doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what golf course you grow up on.
Sure.
If you play well, good golf travels. If you put the hard work in to do it, you can get wherever you want to get.
Sure. Well, it's just, we're so proud of you, Kent, and we look forward to talking about this for many years to come. It's really cool. It's really cool. So my last question for you is probably the most difficult question I'm going to ask the entire interview here. Are you up for a game of Boo-Ray next time you're in town?
Absolutely. Can't wait.
All right. Hey, Kent, I appreciate the time today. I appreciate what you're doing up there. And, check in with us more often. We really like to hear from you. So thanks a lot.
Sounds good. Thanks, Wes.
All right. For WCLUradio.com and WCLUsports.com, Kent Bulle, Wes Royse. We'll see you later.